Welcome to Del Mar.
Thank you very much. The Del Mar Thoroughbred Club is a jewel in the world of horse racing and truly in the sporting world. But when it comes to horse racing, is it a bet or is it a sport? Truthfully, it's both and so much more. Horse racing is in the midst of a revival, reminding everyone why it has no equal when it comes to intrigue, anticipation, and flat-out thrills. Think about last year. We saw a generational horse in American Pharoah win the Triple Crown. This year, crowds of 125,000 to 175,000 have attended some of horse racing's major events. And when it comes to wagering, more money was wagered on the Kentucky Derby this year than the Super Bowl, 50% more.
So if you want to talk about the Super Bowl of horse racing, then it's obviously the Kentucky Derby, right? Although trust me, the Super Bowl is infinitely easier to win. Think about it this way. There are 22,000 horses born every year, and when they make it to post the first Saturday in May, only 20 are standing in the starting gate. Most horses that win it go out in a blaze of glory and retire after the race, but not California Chrome. Chrome is still dominating 2 years later at 5 years old. In fact, he just went to the desert and won the world's richest race, the $10 million Dubai World Cup. His jockey became a household name as well. Victor Espinoza would win an ESPY that year and even have a stint on Dancing with the Stars. It was all thanks to Chrome.
But all of this fame and fortune is a far cry from California Chrome's humble beginnings. His mother, an $8,000 mare they purchased out of a race. His dad, a virtually unknown California sire that they bred to for $1,500. And right here, later today, he's going to get saddled up for an attempt at yet another six-figure payday in a sport where sheikhs and royals spend millions upon millions of dollars in search of blue-blooded pedigrees. California Chrome was begat for under 10 grand. Now, this is a Cinderella story. Not like the Jacksonville Jaguars turning into the New England Patriots and winning 4 Super Bowls. No. It's much more than that. Think a driving range pro from Peoria, Illinois, turning into Tiger Woods. No pomp and circumstance, no pedigree, just good old-fashioned hard work and a tremendous amount of luck that made California Chrome one of the best we've ever seen.
And he's facing one of the best mares we've ever seen. Beholder is the most dominant female horse in this sport. She is fast, powerful, larger than life, towers over her competition, both literally and figuratively. Now, it's not necessarily commonplace to see a mare take on the boys at the highest level of the sport, but this won't be a first for Beholder. No. Not only has she faced the boys, she's beaten them. Last year by over 8 lengths in this exact race. But this year is another story and a much taller task, for if she wants to defend her title, she'll have to beat the toughest field she's ever faced.
On one of horse racing's biggest stages. You know, nothing really compares to Del Mar in the modern sport. The backstretch is full of Hall of Famers and world-class horses. Owners, trainers, and jockeys pull out all stops to get those horses in the winner's circle. You know, I played at Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, and Yankee Stadium, and I got chills just stepping on those fields. But I get the same feeling at this place, the place that Bing Crosby built in 1937. And when you add $1 million to the race, the stage is set.
And today's race is just one of 43,000 races we broadcast annually here on TVG, America's Horse Racing Network. And did you know we provide over 8,300 hours of live programming that is showcased in 53 million homes across the country. You can watch us each and every day on most satellite and cable providers, including Dish Network and DirecTV. But today, thanks to our investment, many of you are watching on various networks around the country for the first time. You can also watch our broadcasts in high definition on our website, tvg.com, which is home to our wagering platform. It's one of the most trusted and used of its kind in the industry. But wherever you are watching from today, we hope you enjoy the sport of horse racing as much as we do.
Horse racing is not only a great sport, it's the best gambling game around. And at TVG, not only do you have the ability to watch the best races from around the world from the comfort of your own home, you can also bet. We know the stakes are high. We know you're putting your own hard-earned money on the line. That's why you play with us at TVG, you can be assured you're getting earnest analysis and opinions on all the race that we show to try to put you in the best position for all-important return on investment. At TVG, when we talk about experiencing the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, we're not just talking about the horses, the jockeys, the trainers, and the owners. We're also talking about you, the bettors.
Now you know our mission statement, and now you know what's at stake. We are TVG, and our team is ready and excited to bring you a unique and comprehensive broadcast of the 2016 TVG Pacific Classic. You're watching TVG's signature program, Trackside Live, and the focus of the thoroughbred racing world is right here at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, their biggest day of the meeting as they host the 26th running of the TVG Pacific Classic. Welcome to our desk just off the paddock area here. I'm Todd Schrupp, and what you're about to see is without a doubt the best assembled field in thoroughbred racing in any division this year. A field of 9 will go a mile and a quarter on the main track here at Del Mar in the 26th running of the TVG Pacific Classic. It also starts a unique bonus opportunity. Win the TVG Pacific Classic today, go on and win the Awesome again at Santa Anita, and then win the Breeders' Cup Classic at Santa Anita, and you can earn a $1 million bonus. But before those second and third steps happen, we need to talk about this all-important first step. Joining me now on the set is a man who played for 4 teams throughout his Major League Baseball career and made 4 All-Star teams, Paul LaDuca. And Paul, when you take a look at the core of this field in the TVG Pacific Classic, it's all-stars.
Yeah, it might be the best one that we've ever had in the history of the TVG Pacific Classic. You got the best mare in the world in Beholder. You have the best older horse in the world in California Chrome. Then you throw in the newly turned 4-year-old Dortmund, whose only losses have been to the Triple Crown winner American Pharoah and California Chrome. You're throwing in a cast of horses that have unbelievable resumes, and that's not counting Opportunity and some of the other ones in here. And the betting has started, and California Chrome right now is your tepid 7-5 favorite.
When they drew post positions on Tuesday, a lot of ohs were uttered when California Chrome got the rail. That is not where the connections of the favorite wanted to be. That is just one of many storylines. We are going to be following all the main contenders from their barns over here to the paddock, and then you will watch them live as they compete in the 26th running of the TVG Pacific Classic. And here is our team to provide you that full coverage. And on Chrome Watch is Mike Joyce.
Pre-game preparations already underway here at the Art Sherman Barn. As over my shoulder, you can see California Chrome getting ready for his date in the TVG Pacific Classic. They're getting him ready to roll, and he's going to make that walk over to the saddling paddock here at Del Mar before too long. And when you look at it, it's kind of humble accommodations for the richest racehorse of all time, but that's the beauty of the backstretch, right? It's the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're California Chrome and you've made over $12 million, or if you're an unraced colt fresh off the farm who's never seen the winner's circle before in your life. They all stay in the same motel.
Well, Beholder looks cool, calm, and collected in her stall right here at Hall of Famer Richard Mandela's barn. Now, it was 20 years ago that Richard won his very first Pacific Classic. That was with Daringo, a long shot, upsetting the heavy favorite Cigar. He won most recently just last year with this incredible mare behind me. Beholder became the first female to ever beat the boys in the TVG Pacific Classic. She is back today to show the boys that she's got what it takes to take on the best horses that she'll ever face. I gotta say, girl power today, guys, for Beholder in the TVG Pacific Classic.
And Dortmund is stabled here behind me in Barn Double F on the backside, better known as the headquarters of one of the most famous men in horse racing, trainer Bob Baffert. Many of you know him from last year's Triple Crown win with American Pharoah, the first Triple Crown winner in 37 years. But with him now retired, it's up to Dortmund to try and give Bob his 5th win in the TVG Pacific Classic. Moments ago, we checked in with Dortmund, and preparations are well underway before he makes his way from the barn to the paddock, where he will be united with jockey Rafael Bejarano.
And we are here on the infield set, Christina Blacker and Matt Carruthers. Matt, as fans, we're looking forward to this race. But as handicappers, we're salivating over a race like this because you can make a case for the big 3 and on pace for a long shot to come running and pick up a piece.
You can, because as Paul mentioned, California Chrome's already 7-5. You might get some value on Beholder, who's been a great horse since she's 2. She's now a 6-year-old. Devastating win in the TVG Pacific Classic last year at the age of 5. She won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Eclipse Award as a 2-year-old. She's 17 for 23 in her career. You can bet these races, of course. Bet Del Mar and Saratoga. Sign up code, promo code SUMMER. Get up to a $100 bonus as well. So bet your first deposit will match it up to $100. And then you have Dortmund, who needed his race in the San Diego, lost to California Chrome in that race, and a great addition to San Diego here 4 weeks ago. That was his first start in 8 months. That was his first start as a 4-year-old. He's 8 for 11 in a lifetime. Definitely could improve off of that great performance.
I got some of those chills that Paul LaDuca was talking about. I'm standing here within inches of California Chrome as he makes his way over to the saddling paddock, getting ready for the TVG Pacific Classic. And all the members of Team Chrome that were at the barn are walking over, except for one, Jasper, the dog. It's a fox red lab that has become good friends of all the horses in the barn, most notably Chrome. He was a big part of our feature as we led up to the race, but he's got to stay back on the backstretch. So everyone but the four-legged friend are going to head to the paddock while California Chrome is ready to roll. You can see he's got his signature nasal strip on. It was applied just minutes ago. And we are making our way down Shed Row Double C. This is California Chrome on his way to the saddling paddock. I got to check my pulse, because if my heart's not beating this fast, I'd have to see if I was dead. This is about as thrilling a moment as you'll ever see in sport.
And he has his followers. They're known as the Chromies, and they're out in full force here today to see the horse that, again, has earned more money in North American racing history than anyone else. California Chrome, his showdown with Beholder and his rematch with Dortmund on the San Diego Handicap. Okay, so for those who maybe don't follow the sport, maybe we can help them out a little bit and compare these horses and these riders to some mainstream athletes, as it were. Let's start with Beholder, Paul. You look at her accomplishments. We say she's one of the best female racehorses of all time, so I guess you'd have to tie her into a female athlete. How would you tie in Beholder?
Well, it's Serena Williams. Who's the best female athlete right now in the world? It is Serena Williams. She was Woman of the Year at Sports Illustrated last year, and Beholder is the best mare in the world. To me, this was the easiest of comparisons.
We heard Mike Joyce talking about the humble beginnings of California Chrome, but like we said, he's now become one of the best in his sport. So where's the comparison there?
We're going to get fictional on you. Rocky Balboa, humble beginnings like we talked about, but became the champ, then took some time off, and then became the people's champ again. So to me, California Chrome, Rocky.
Well, then Dortmund's got to be Ivan Drago. Look at the size of this guy. He's bigger than anyone else in the field physically. And, you know, look at his resume. His only losses were to his stablemate, American Pharoah. They were 3-year-olds in the same barn last year, and then he lost to California Chrome this year.
Because he delivers. He's Karl Malone. And who did Karl Malone lose to when he had his one shot to get to the finals? I'm not talking about the Lakers. I'm talking about the Utah Jazz. He lost to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Dortmund, American Pharoah, and California Chrome.
Yeah, so Dortmund could have a breakthrough moment for him if he could finally, it'd be a championship moment for him if he could win the TVG Pacific Classic. Let's talk about the main jockeys for those horses, starting with Beholder's jockey, Gary Stevens. He's a Hall of Fame rider. He's an actor. He's got those matinee idol good looks, but he's also had knee replacement surgery, and he's still riding at 50-plus age.
Well, he's Brett Favre for me. Just been at a high level for a very long time. And you know what? He sort of does it his own way like Brett did, and he's had many comebacks. And when he comes back, he still stays at the high level. Brett Favre.
Victor Espinosa, there was a time where he was remembered as War Emblems rider, didn't get to the Triple Crown. It looked like his career was on the decline. Then comes along California Chrome, then American Pharoah last year. Who do you compare Victor Espinosa to?
You got to compare him to Derek Jeter. I mean, He seems like he always comes up in the big spots. Played against Jeter for many years. Not flashy, but when the flashlight was on Derek Jeter, he performed. And they both have performed in multiple occasions on the big stage.
And then on the physically big Dortmund is Rafael Bejarano getting his chance aboard this horse, a guy who dominates the Southern California riding circuit, but maybe not known nationally.
I think a lot of people don't even know who Craig Biggio is. If you don't, he was in the Hall of Fame of the last class because he got overshadowed by his other teammate, Jeff Bagwell. Remember them, the Killer Bees? That's why Rafael Bejarano is compared to him, because he gets overshadowed like guys like Gary Stevens and Mike Smith in that jockey room.
Okay, so we've covered the jockeys, the horses they're riding. What about the trainers who prepare these horses? Beholder's trained by Dick Mandela. He's got a dry sense of humor. What's his kind of parallel?
I mean, this is easy as they come, right? Bill Belichick, smart, looking at all the angles. The only difference, Belichick is hoodie. Richard Mandela, fedora.
Well put. Art Sherman, the kindly gentleman, finding success late in his career on the biggest stage. He trains California Chrome. Where's his comparison?
For a lot of people who don't remember Chuck Daly, he was the one that had success late in his career with the Bad Boys. And don't forget, Art Sherman was the exercise rider of Swaps, rode 2,000 wins, and at 77 became the oldest trainer to strike success at the Derby.
Even if you don't follow horse racing a day in and day out, everyone knows who that is. It's trainer Bob Baffert. He had Triple Crown winner American Pharoah last year, but many people knew him well before that with 12 wins in the Triple Crown. Who's he like?
Well, he's Phil Jackson. It's plain and simple. He has to deal with all the big stars and the big egos. A lot of people talk about the horses that Baffert gets. Well, a lot of people get those pricey type of horses and can't deal with it. Phil Jackson was able to deal with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal. Bob Baffert deals with the same kind of people, but in the horse equine world.
Well done, Paul LaDuca, giving you some comparisons in the mainstream sporting world and our horse racing world. Beholder is finally leaving her barn, and as she does to make her way over here to the paddock is Brittany Erd.
I'm walking over with defending champion Beholder as she makes her way from Hall of Famer Richard Bandella's barn to the receiving barn, led out by the foreman, Jose Vera. And it's interesting, she'll be led actually to the receiving barn by the foreman, and then her groom Ruben will get her as she makes her way from the receiving barn to the paddock area. Now, Beholder has been an incredible specimen since age 2. She is literally the only horse to win a Grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Only 6 losses in her career. Most recently in the Clement Al Hirsch. You know, it was a shock to many, but Richard Mandella, after the words, honest in his assessment, saying, you know what, maybe I didn't have her fit enough. But that's what I wanted to see a comparison of. Beholder 3 weeks ago versus Beholder just 2 days ago in the paddock schooling. You can see the incredible difference. I showed the photo to Richard Mandella, and you know what he said to me? See that right there? It's all he needed to say. She is tighter, more toned, tucked up. Her hind end is more defined, and you can see right here, she looks absolutely incredible. You know, the Clement L. Hirsch was just a battle lost, but the TVG Pacific Classic, that is the war, and Beholder looks loaded.
And I'm walking over with Dortmund here, the gentle giant. Look at him, the big imposing son that stands so tall, but he really makes a nice impression here as he comes over from the backside over to the receiving barn. He's handling things extremely well, makes a great appearance, and I think he's getting ready to run a big one.
Here's what you missed from California Chrome on the way to the TVG Pacific Classic. He wins the Kentucky Derby in 2014, making his trainer Art Sherman the oldest Derby-winning trainer. His rider Victor Espinosa sees his career revitalized, leading to American Pharoah and a Triple Crown the next year, and a short appearance on Dancing with the Stars. Back to Chrome. His owner's dumbass partners become media darlings. Dumbass partner Steve Coburn becomes unofficial spokesman, which was great at the Preakness, not so great at the Belmont. Chrome ends the year by winning the Grade 1 Hollywood Derby, leading to beers with Coburn and Joyce, and ensuring Horse of the Year at the Eclipse Awards. 2015 finds Callie Chrome in the desert. He finishes second in the Dubai World Cup. In a surprising next move, he's sent to England and prepares to race before the Queen at Royal Ascot. Days before the race, he scratches due to injury. Chrome returns to the United States, where he doesn't race the rest of the year. Dumbass partner Steve Coburn exits and sells his share to respected breeding farm TaylorMade. Chrome remains with Art Sherman and is prepared for one final season of racing in 2016. He returns to the desert and this time wins the Dubai World Cup, establishing himself as one of the best horses in the world and setting the North American earnings record. He comes back to the United States and takes on American Pharoah's stablemate Dortmund in the San Diego Handicap. The two wage a protracted duel down the stretch, and Chrome prevails, eliciting great joy from his rabid followers known as Chromies. And that's what California Chrome has done so far on his way to the TVG Pacific Classic. But it was that initial run to the 2014 Kentucky Derby win that elicited this response from the fans of California Chrome, who dubbed themselves Chromies. They are loyal, ups and downs, doesn't matter. They are out here to see their champion, and California Chrome is the 7-5, current 7-5 favorite to win the TVG Pacific Classic. And yes, you'd imagine he's very popular with the California fans. After all, he is a California bred.
Yeah, the great Mayor Zenyatta sort of started this. There's been fans of horses for a long time, and you could see the
Perry
owner
Martin there?
of the California Chrome, Mr. Perry Martin. Yeah, Beholder's got some fans too. Very rare do you see a couple horses with a lot of fans, but obviously with the new wave of social media, they got Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts, the whole 9 yards, but fans are out for all three runners.
Hall of Famer Richard Mandella stands out, defending champion of the TVG Pacific Classic. Beholder, Richard, 3 weeks ago versus today, how much better is she?
Well, I'm hoping a lot better. She'll have to be to beat these two, but I think she did move forward, tightened her up a little bit. I heard you talking about it. I'm going to put myself on the same program after the race.
Yeah, if we all could really tighten up after 3 weeks, well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Art, I need to ask you, California Chrome at age 5, he seems more dominant, a bigger, stronger, faster version than what he was at age 3. But today, is he a bigger, faster, and more fit version than what we saw in the San Diego?
You know, he's coming into this race. I think you'll see a lot stronger horse. He needed that race the other day. And, you know, for a tune-up to be a 5th off the track regular was great. I look for him to run a big race. He's been training just awesome. So I just hope it's a clean run race and nobody has any excuses. And let the best horse win.
Best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And now entering in the paddock and in front of a huge crowd just to the right of me, California Chrome. He's used to this. He's been on the big stage. He's traveled around the world. He looks absolutely fantastic here. Look at the groom waving to the many fans, and Chrome is off to the side here. He does get a little warm. You'll notice a little bit of sweat on his body there, but it is typical of what he's done in the past. He looks tremendous, and he is making his way over to his saddling stall. We're going to stop right here just for a second and back up and take a look at Beholder. The reason we want to stay and look at Beholder, because we've been out here all meet, and we've noticed when she schools a couple of times this week that she tends to hesitate at the gap. So we're going to take a close look at her here, and the gap I'm talking about is the one that they take out into the racetrack. More often than not, it's just anticipation and anxiety of going out into the racetrack. She's done it in the mornings as well. Here she is with the hood on. You see, she's just getting on her toes a little bit, and she senses what is ahead of her. And hopefully her groom and her assistant handler there can get her past. But that's why they've got the head muffs on her there to keep the noise down. And look at her in front of this crowd. She is just showing off right now.
Well, and it's all about containing that energy and not getting too far over the top. It's not as if Beholder hasn't seen this little gap we were talking about before. It's not as if hasn't been before big crowds before. But look, they are creatures of habit, and hopefully those habits don't get in the way of their best performance.
You're right. I mean, this is part of the race, the pre-race. I mean, a lot of people always talk about when the horses get on the racetrack, but they got to act normal in here to save all their energy to perform well on the racetrack. So the paddock is very key, and you'll see Richard Mandella in that stall with Beholder. They'll push her back because he wants her, she can be a little skittish, to stay away from the people. And, you know, he makes a great point to Simon Bray. California Chrome has been in the Kentucky Derby crowd. He's been in some of these giant crowds, so he's used to it.
The other thing to remember, too, I think sometimes the general public, well, a horse is a horse. No, they all have their own personalities. And you talked about California Chrome, the situations he's been in. His personality also fits why he's reacted that way. He's laid back, much like his trainer.
There's a lot of horses you can speak of, and athletes that sometimes just can't play under the spotlight. California Chrome is one of those horses that does, and you can see the connections there all lining up. We saw Art Sherman and Richard Mandella earlier. There you see Art and Alan talking to the white-haired wizard Bob Baffert, and I'm sure Bob trying to get a little info on how the one's doing. And by the way, California Chrome just took a giant hit in the wind pool.
You cannot have a big three without a third, and that third is Dortmund. Simon?
And he is stabled away from his assigned stall, stall number 8. He's down to the end of the paddock where it's cool, calm, and quiet. He's a huge individual. Remember, he's named after a German soccer team, Dortmund, of the Bundesliga in Germany, one of the most successful German soccer teams around. He stands 17 hands high, 68 inches from the ground and to his withers. The withers is where the neck joins the body. And don't forget, he weighed in earlier this week at 1,353 pounds. Put that in comparison with California Chrome, who just checks in at 1,090 pounds. Chrome's is 263 pounds heavier than his rivals, and he's 11 pounds heavier than before his previous race. That's all muscle.
And that was so much, you think about the travel for just a person to go over to Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. Now a horse who's racing over there. Sometimes horses come back from that trip, even if they've been accomplished, and they're not the same the rest of the year. So that San Diego handicap was a big moment for California Chrome, and he has to be better out of that race.
Yeah, and I think Dortmund makes him better out of the race because he tested him, and Dortmund is a tough foe, and he's very gritty. But I think California Chrome needed that, and I think Beholder needed her last race just to get tested a little bit. like Papa Mandel was telling Brittany, tighten the screws a tiny bit to get ready for the big dance.
Waiting for the riders to come out after being saddled. Then we'll get a call for riders up. Complete coverage here, the 26th running of the TVG Pacific Classic here on America's Horse Racing Network, TVG.
The biggest days of the meet here at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. And Matt, here's our first chance to take a look at the wagering. They are pouring it in on California Chrome.
Unbelievable. So 60 cents on the dollar, so $2 to win on California Chrome. He's so heavily favored, $3.20 you get right now on a $2 win play. That means Beholder, $6 on a $2 win play. How about Dortmund? 8 for 11 lifetime of an 8-month layoff, gave California Chrome everything he could handle 28 days ago here at Del Mar in the San Diego. Right now a $12, $13 winner on a $2 win bet.
It's interesting how your second and third choices have flipped in the wagering as far as the morning line. Maybe a little bit more in line with what we expected with what we're seeing on the tote board right now. This race last year from Beholder, her win by 8 1/4 lengths, the second largest margin in this field, was just a blow-away performance. But let's get to Mike Joyce.
Well, I'm here with Victor Espinoza. Victor, you've had a long time to pour over this race, the post position. How do you intend on getting California Chrome off the rail?
I know it's hard. It's not easy, but you know what? I'm going to try to just bounce out of there and see how he breaks, and then from there, I will get in a good, hopefully in a good position.
How do you think this race is going to unfold in front of you with all that speed to your outside, though?
It's going to be fun. Interested. See how the other one's going to go, and then it's all about just let California Chrome run his. I'm going to let California Chrome run his race, and then we'll see what happens.
Best of luck.
Thank you, guys.
Hall of Famer Gary Stevens on a riding high right now. 2 wins in the books, including a graded stakes event. Now Beholder, defending champion in the Pacific Classic. Gary, you have speed to your outside in Dortmund. You've got California Chrome on the rail. Tactically, how is this race won?
I'm going to ride her very similar to how I did last year. I'm going to hopefully let those two go and track them, but I got to wait for the gate to open. Anything can happen. We've got respect for each other, all three of us, horses and riders, and hopefully it's just a great horse race.
Incredible crowd out here, right?
Yeah, super crowd.
Good luck, Gary.
It has been quite a duel with these two guys, not only over the years, but particularly when you take a look at what's been going on at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club between Victor Espinoza and Gary Stevens. And it's a renewal of a rivalry that goes back a long ways, but I think more in terms of the San Diego, where you had Gary Stevens riding Dortmund, the horse that challenged California Chrome. Victor Espinoza got the best of Gary that day. Then they would meet in the Clement Hirsch. Gary back on his regular mount, Beholder, and now it was Victor Espinoza trying to be the spoiler with Stellar Wind, and he got Gary again.
And you could see after that win with Stellar Wind, Victor Espinoza was pumped because I think he was trying to take a little steam out of Beholder, knowing that her next competition was going to be his main mount, California Chrome. And you get to that last segment when you talk about Kentucky Derby wins, both with 3. I think a lot of people forget that Victor Espinoza won in 2002 on War Emblem.
They are taking their time coming out of the saddling stalls. California Chrome at 3 to 5 here for the TVG Pacific Classic. And then Beholder sitting up on the board as the second choice at 2 to 1. I think a lot of people were surprised that it was Dortmund who was installed as the second choice in the morning line, but ultimately the betting public is going back to what they know, and they know is Beholder was dominant in this race last year.
Yeah, and you could see Gary was not playing a little possum with Brittany, but I think he's saying, I got to play the break. Now, if California Chrome goes and Dortmund goes, I sit the trip. But if one of them doesn't break, I have to still put myself maybe on the front end and force those horses to go in front of me, speed up the pace, and then back my horse down. There you see Alan Sherman. I mean, focus as can be, also with his horse, California Chrome, who looks focused.
It will be the paddock judge here. We talked about jobs at the track. Simon Bray informing us, the paddock judge who will call riders up here, Karen Deneville. We're getting close to that moment as California Chrome makes his way all the way around the paddock here, leading the field The instructions have been doled out to the jockeys, and then it's time to get tied on for the TVG Pacific Classic. We turn the action over to Karen Deneville.
Go to your horses, please, riders! Riders up!
And Victor Espinosa about to get his leg up from Alan Sherman, son of Art Sherman. And let's keep in mind, it is amazing to watch Art Sherman and his son stand there with Bob Baffert, who's had so many good horses over the years. You know, California Chrome in anybody's barn is a once-in-a-lifetime horse, but more so for the Sherman family. They'll never see his likes again. They don't get the opportunities that a Bob Baffert or even a Dick Mandela gets.
And the horses have now made their way onto the track and heading up the lineup. California Chrome, jockey Victor Espinosa to the left of me, waving at the crowd. Huge backdrop here. He looks tremendous as he makes his way down the track, and he's going to make a turn here. The crowd is cheering. Incredible cheer here for the fielders. They make their way down the racetrack and going to make this big sweeping turn. You can see Victor just playing up to the crowd, waving at everybody. He's wearing those blinkers that he's worn for the majority of his races that have been so successful. And I'm very impressed with the way he's handling all the excitement here. Of course, as I said in the paddock, he's used to the big stage and he's accustomed to these big and heavy crowds.
And next up after California Chrome is Opportunity, one of two horses in here for trainer Bob Baffert, the aforementioned Dortmund being the other one. But don't go to sleep on Opportunity. He was in the Dubai World Cup, was third behind California Chrome, and his running style has a better chance over this track the way it's playing today. Look out at 19-1.
The longest shot on the board will be the 3 War Story, the son of Northern Afleet, out of the Pulpit Mare. Bell Waiting will be ridden today by Ricardo Mejias, 99-1. But don't ask his owner, Mr. Luch. He still thinks he's got a 9-1 shot.
Hard Aces was in this race last year, finishing 6th to Beholder, beating 14 lengths.
When the space is going to go through for George Papapadramu, the gray was a nice second to Melatonin in the Gold Cup 2 starts back.
You have to go all the way back to 2014 to find the last win by Imperative, but trainer Richie Baltus is very sharp and has engineered big upsets at the highest level before. He beat Tiz Now with a horse called Freedom Crest.
The 7 Beholder looks absolutely tremendous, so focused. She's a filly racing against colts. She doesn't look out of place. Gary Stevens, incredible focus. Dortmund's breaking out of the post braid here. He's the one that, although coming over to the track like a gentle giant, he's the one that's reacting to the crowd the most. He's on his toes. Rafael Bejarano just had to break him out of behind Beholder. He was getting a little anxious, and hopefully he can go ahead and gallop off and warm up without any incident.
And our final horse in the post parade for the 26th running of the TVG Pacific Classic is the 3-year-old Dalmore with back-to-back wins, most recently the Grade 3 Affirmed. But what a step up here today against these older horses. And in the Grade 1 TVG Pacific Classic, Kent DeSormo aboard. That is your live post parade. As the field goes out to warm up, we go out to Christina and Matt.
Todd, thank you. Matt, you see the post parade, see everyone sort of reacting to the crowd.
Yeah.
Simon mentioned Dortmund kind of getting a little keyed up. And I think we're going to be able to tell so much about this race into the first turn.
Yeah, I mean, as Paulie mentioned, Victor Espinosa has been so good in big races for the last couple of years. Obviously winning the Triple Crown with American Pharoah last year, nearly winning the Triple Crown with California Chrome a couple of years ago. Gary Stevens, age 53, 9 Triple Crown wins, 10 Breeders' Cup wins. You know, Rafael Bejarano aboard Dortmund. He has 25 riding titles in Southern California. He's never won the Pacific Classic. He's never won a Triple Crown race. This is a big moment for Rafael Bejarano.
We saw Victor Espinosa make so many tactical moves through the Triple Crown with California Chrome, through the Derby and the Preakness, and kind of force the other riders to do what he wanted them to do. Gary Stevens does that very often. Could Rafael Bejarano be a victim of their tactics today with Dortmund? I
thought it was kind of interesting that Gary Stevens a few moments ago told Brittany he wants to take Beholder back like he did last year in the TVG Pacific Classic. It worked well a year ago because I was thinking Beholder can show speed. And California Chrome has proven in past races he doesn't like to be on the inside, that Stevens might get a little aggressive early on and pin Espinosa down the rail. But Stevens telling Brittany a few moments ago he wants to sit back. He is hoping that California Chrome and Dortmund do their thing up front, lively fractions. We know the Beholder, no problem with 10 furlongs. We're sort of some are questioning Dortmund at the 1.25 mile distance going into this race, but you can't question Beholder at 10 furlongs, not for this performance. This is one of the most visually impressive races you will ever see. I've seen a few races in my life. This is probably top 5 from a visual standpoint. He gets to the lead. This is the TVG Pacific Classic from 2015. Was the group as good as the group we had this year? Probably not, but still, grade 1 competition, males, and look at Gary Stevens aboard Beholder, never even touching her, and she goes on to win by 8 1/4 lengths. One of the most impressive performances we've ever had in this race. Some people think the most impressive.
Let's get to Mike Joyce for more.
Well, it's very literally a sea of people, and I'm standing in an ocean of chromies here with Frank Taylor of Taylor Made Farms. The one question that we haven't talked about, and I do want to ask, is the commitment of Team Chrome to the V Foundation.
Yeah, we wanted to give back, and we've been blessed to have Chrome perform so well. And so Perry Martin and Denise and the Taylor Made, we all talked about it, and so we decided to pick a charity we really believed in, and we studied several charities, and we're really impressed with the V Foundation. They just do great work. 100% of their money goes towards research, and it's just a great cause.
Well, thank you very much for giving back. And Todd, as you can see, the Chromies, they have a little more to fight for here than just fame and fortune.
And look, that commitment that they're talking about, they also had some events here locally for Chrome followers. So TaylorMade has really gone all in with the V Foundation, and it is a wonderful organization, not only bringing about awareness, but bringing about much needed funds for cancer research.
It's great for mainstream too. You know, the V Foundation is so mainstream. We're so used to getting a lot of charities that are inside the horse racing world. The V Foundation, you're right, tremendous.
California Chrome warming up here, our 4-5 favorite, and Brittany Urton with the rival camp.
With owner B. Wayne Hughes, got smiles on his face. Wayne, you have never been one to back down from a challenge. It seems like you're almost the one to create the challenge, especially with this mare. What is it about Beholder that makes you so confident?
Well, I mean, she's the best there is, okay? That's why I'm confident, although I'm a little nervous today.
A little nervous today. You don't strike me as nervous at all. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Down here at the starting gate, starter Jay Slender has given the assignments to all his assistant starting gate crew. What they'll do is they'll take each horse and load them into the starting gate as safely as possible. Horse and rider, there's a look at California Chrome. Dortmund, for his impressive size, it's a little tight in there for him. If you remember in his last race, he broke a step slow. It's a little tight, little claustrophobic in there, but they're just getting these horses lined up and into the starting gate.
Where the turf meets the surf is not just a moniker, it's a geographical fact. They're going to go 1.25 miles on the main track here at Del Mar. If you were to turn them around and have them go to the ocean, that's enough to get to the waters of the Pacific Ocean here. But the goal is on the main track at Del Mar, to get to the finish line first. And in a sport that wishes for big matchups, we finally have one. California Chrome on the inside. Defending champ Beholder towards the outside along with Dortmund. It's post time for the 2016 TVG Pacific Classic.
Roar from the Del Mar crowd as they sent on their way in the TVG Pacific Classic. California Chrome bounced out the gate, and California Chrome sprinting away to lead them clear early. California Chrome's moved about 6 horses off the rail and has the lead. Beholder is in second, and Dortmund is right there third. Delmore on the outside as fourth. Opportunities down at the rail, then Hard Aces. Imperative in the goal, 6 off them, and then back to Win the Space and War Story. Into the turn they go, and no turning back for Victor Espinosa now. He's all alone out on the front on California Chrome. California Chrome nice and relaxed though, just tugging away, leads it by just over 2. Beholder a very comfortable second, and Dortmund on the far side. Opportunity scrapes paint, and Delmore's right there in 5th. Only 3 lengths covers them all now. Then Win the Space, Hard Aces at the rail, Imperative between them, and War Story is last. They've just run past the 5/8 pole, and Victor Espinosa's letting California Chrome stride, and California Chrome strides on now. He leads by 3 big lengths. Beholder is tracking from second. Dortmund on the far side having to be asked to keep up a little now. Then Opportunity, Delmore behind that. They've been followed by Hard Aces at the rail. In behind that comes Win the Space, Imperative, and last of all War Story. Now comes the test as they come to the top of the lane. California Chrome. Victor Espinosa took a confident look back. California Chrome is strong on the lead. Beholder is set down now by Gary Stevens. Dortmund on the outside, an opportunity. Homeward bound, and California Chrome is threatening to turn this one into a romp. Victor Espinosa hasn't even thought about the sticks. One of the greatest performances you'll ever see. California Chrome in a canter. California Chrome, unbelievable. Beholder certainly not disgraced in second. Behind that came Dortmund, Opportunity, Delmore. Then we came back to Imperative, War Story, and Hard Aces.
California Chrome. Any questions? The TVG Pacific Classic, a tour de force by California Chrome. Everyone was wondering, what will Victor Espinosa do from the inside? The answer was clear early on. Take it to the field. Mike.
I'm standing here with Art Sherman. Art, tell me about that performance. What did we just witness?
Well, you saw one of the greatest, I think. I can't say enough about the horse. He's a dream come true.
Tell me about the first part of that. He gets out, Victor gets him off the rail, he starts going comfortably on the lead. How happy were you with his position?
Well, I know if he's going on the lead, he must be comfortable. You know, if somebody wanted to go on, I would say, hey, let him go, because, you know, he's kind of push button. He can come off the pace, on the pace, and that's what good horses do, you know.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
What a performance from California Chrome, guys.
And look, you can be any observer and be impressed with what you saw. I also listened to that call by Trevor Denman, and he's seen a lot of good horses over the years. You can tell in his voice. The final time, 2 minutes, he could have gone faster here, but that time even holds up.
Yeah, you know, his early speed and his talents just decimated this field. He was just too quick for this group. He broke out in front. And Beholder and Dortmund, Gary Stevens and Bejarano just could not keep up with him early. The race was over as soon as they sprung the latch.
Someone has to ask Victor Espinosa this question. If you had to ride American Pharoah or California Chrome in the same race at 1.25 miles, who you picking? And this is a matchup that could have happened last year if California Chrome hadn't been hurt. But you know what? It's a blessing because he's as good as he's ever been.
You know, his last work without the blinkers was unbelievable. Then he tightened them up with the blinkers. And then Victor Espinosa, look at his ears straight forward, waiting for command. Give Beholder the mare a lot of credit because she chased the whole way around. And look at Art. He knew it. He said to us earlier, he's coming in the race better than he ever has. And I'll tell you what, when he was a 3-year-old, he told us all, wait till this horse is 4 or 5. He didn't get a chance to race him at 4, but he said he was going to be better at 5, and boy, was he right.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Paul. Finding this type of success so late in your career. If Art Sherman had never come across a horse like California Chrome, that might have been to expected. He had had a solid training career, but then he gets the horse of a lifetime, and he has maximized those opportunities, even with those difficult circumstances of 2015. This is a complete team effort by the Sherman family, and now their partners, TaylorMade Farms, celebrating a signature win here in the TVG Pacific Classic. It's not only that he beat one of the great race mares we've seen in quite some time in Beholder and a very talented horse in Dortmund, it's that he decimated them.
He really did. He decimated 2 superstar horses. Beholder, a mare for the generations, and Dortmund and Opportunity are 2 very nice horses. Now Dortmund can lay claim. I've lost 4 times. Now twice to California Chrome and twice to American Pharoah. No shame to that. But Beholder ran a gallant second, and Opportunity always brings his A game, checked in 4th.
Well, and you know, this idea of who would Victor Espinosa choose in a hypothetical matchup between American Pharoah last year and California Chrome this year. Put that question aside for a moment because it's hypothetical. There is a big matchup looming. The best in the East, Frosted. You were there to watch him in person for the Whitney. You were here to watch California Chrome in person for the TVG Pacific Classic. If you were to declare the best older horse in America right now between Frosted and California Chrome, who you declare?
It was California Chrome, and it was California Chrome on that same day because this year in January, he beat him in Dubai on the square, at a mile and a quarter. Now, if you want to go a mile, maybe Frosted is just as good. But now, for a lot of people out there that claim Frosted as the best horse in America, back off, because this one is.
California Chrome has done nothing wrong in 2016. He's done everything right. He's 5 for 5, and he's traveled from Dubai back to America and winning at Del Mar in the Grade 1 TVG Pacific Classic. He also takes the first in a 3-race series that could lend a $1 million bonus if he were to win the Awesome again at Santa Anita, and then the Breeders' Cup Classic in the fall there as well. California Chrome, the best horse in America, proving it in the TVG Pacific Classic.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
California Chrome. It pays to be a Calbred and then some, a product of the Golden State, who has handled every task. As we mentioned, Beholder, second in this race, but so brilliant last year. In fact, in a time that was faster in our winner this year. And for more on her second place effort and what's next for Beholder, Brittany Urt.
Wayne, you have got to be proud of your mare. She may not have won, but a second place finish behind the richest racehorse in North America, California Chrome. Are you proud of your girl?
No, we're very proud to have her, and we just got flat outrun today, and that's it, by a really good horse.
And how much rode on today in the sense of moving forward and her fall campaign? What do you see for Beholder next?
Well, I don't know. I'm not the person making the call. We're going to keep, as long as she's enjoying racing, we're going to keep racing. And once she stops, then we'll stop.
Well, potentially as a 7-year-old then, because, man, the fans would love that.
Well, I felt bad about the fans when they lost their bet when we were the odds-on favorite. Yeah. And this one here, though, she ran really well. We just got outrun. That's all there is to it.
Oh, well, she's a sensational mare.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I agree with that.
Beholder returned to be desaddled to the cheers of the crowd. She truly is a special mare.
Joined by now jockey Gary Stevens aboard Beholder. Gary, not the result you were looking for, but boy, you had to be proud of her performance, no?
Super proud. Richard and I talked yesterday, and he said, I think we go back to our old style. I understand why we put her on the lead last time, but let's take her back. And we were hoping that Bob would send Dortmund. First jump, I knew that wasn't going to happen, and I said, hey, dude, I wasn't going to go up there and hook the big horse. Victor was loaded, rode a great strategy race. He drifted clear out about the 8th path in the first 50 yards, and the race was won inside the first 16th. And I made a little bit of a run. I thought going into the turn, the far turn, 3/8, I just kept flashing back to her big move last year. She hit that gear, and he opened up on me. I said, man, I better save something for second. But it was another great effort by Beholder. And what a horse, California Chrome. As good as I've ridden against in a lot of years, because I know what I'm sitting on with Beholder, and I don't think she regressed at all. She got outrun today.
You didn't win, but it's so great to be part of something like this crowd, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, tremendous crowd today, tremendous atmosphere. Del Mar put on a great show, and thanks to the fans for coming out and knowing what true race horses are.
Thanks, Gary. Gracious with your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, perfectly said there by Gary Stevens. Sometimes you've experienced this as an athlete, sometimes you just get beat by a better performance.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens, and Gary made a great point there. And when you get put in chase mode in horse racing, it's hard. And when you get put in chase mode by a horse that basically runs like Usain Bolt, it's hard to hold on to second.
Yeah,
and that's what ended up happening. You could see Gary try to make that move, but California Chrome is just too classy and too much. Now the interesting point Brittany was asking Mr. Hughes, what happens next? Do we see him try to challenge this mare again when it comes to, the first Saturday in November, and we go there, or are we going to see this horse in the first Friday in November?
Victor Espinosa, what a perspective he has. He rides California Chrome, and he rode American Pharoah, Triple Crown winner last year. Wow, what an embarrassment of riches. He's with Simon.
A very happy jockey, Victor Espinosa, joins me now. Victor, you had to have a big smile on your face after the first 16th of this race.
Yes, absolutely. Even before that, I mean, as soon as I bounce out of there and I open up 2-3 lengths, and, it's exactly what I want to do. It worked out the way I was thinking it was going to happen, and I was just cruising along in the front. Oh, no, the fractions here was pretty decent. They were not like real slow. I wanted to go a little bit slower than that, but I feel like everybody was right in behind my heels.
Were you surprised not to see Dortmund tracking you and that you got loose on the lead?
You know what? Not really, but, you know, I take my chance. You know, I was worried about my own horse. I was worried about California Chrome. You know, just bounce out of there and just let it run his race. And then whatever happens is going to happen on the lane. But, you know, obviously today was much the best.
Victor, it's been a tremendous year for you. Just over a year ago, you won the Triple Crown, the first time in 37 years. You've now won the TVG Pacific Classic with California Chrome, the Dubai World Cup. Where would these two match up? If you had to pick tomorrow, if there was a race between Pharaoh and Chrome, who would you jump on?
Well, it's really tough. I mean, I'm telling you, as a 3-year-old, I would go with American Pharaoh. But as older horses, there's no one like California Chrome. California Chrome, he's international. He wins everywhere and every track, even in the turf, he wins. So I got to go for California Chrome.
Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Well, Perry Martin has been here before on a big stage with a big trophy, and that looks like quite the trophy to put on the mantle. What does this win mean that the other ones haven't so far?
No, it means the same thing as the other ones. This was just fantastic. This is one of the first times Victor did what I said, so I'm feeling really proud. I'm glad that he's finally coming around to understand that he should listen to me. You know, I said go out to a 12-length lead and then improve your position from there. And he did a fairly good job. So Victor's coming along.
Not too many horses could pull off such a feat as you gave those instructions. But you guys had a plan at the beginning of the year. You had your spots pointed. So far, you've been perfect. From here on out, it's to the Breeders' Cup. The Awesome again on the agenda as well?
I believe, we'll look at the Awesome again after we see how Chrome comes out of this. But I think that's the plan. Once he gets in shape, we like to keep him running on a regular basis. Just like in 2014 when we had to run to the Derby, he just keeps getting better and better. And, I mean, you might not believe it, but I think he'll get even better than this.
And the question on everyone's mind, looking at that trophy, Jell-O mold or martini glass?
Martini glass.
You heard it here first, gentlemen.
And we could not have done this without the support of the horsemen and women who allowed us to have all access to their barns and to their horses. So we want to give a blanket thank you to all the connections involved in the 2016 TVG Pacific Classic. And as far as the crew that works on this show, yes, Paul, phenomenal. We just get to sit here up front and present to you the hard work and effort, the men and women who work behind the scenes who have put this really, truly together.
Yeah, big ups. You know, we were been circling the racetrack, telling people to go many different ways, trying to get this down for you at home, and hopefully you enjoyed every part of it.
And there they are walking through. You thought that opening was cool with everyone walking around. Look at this. This wasn't even planned, but it was planned by our supervising producer, and that is Kevin Grigsby. We must give him a great amount of credit for all the effort and the ideas that he came up with to make this show possible. So to him and our entire crew, thank you so much for watching our TVG Pacific Classic, and the biggest thank you goes to you, the TVG viewer and account holder.
Fine light in the beautiful sea, I chose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see, a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like